Hello, my name is Sasha. I'm a Gilman Scholarship recipient, and this is a brief guide on how you can become one too. If you're a Pell Grant recipient and interested in studying or interning abroad, then you can receive the U.S. State Department-funded Gilman Scholarship, which awards up to $5,000 or even up to $9,000 in supplemental awards. It's designed to give students who face financial barriers the chance to explore the world and expand their horizons. In this video, I'll be sharing information about the scholarship, what I found to be the best practices for applying, as well as my personal experience as a recipient of this award. I'm also running a fundraiser for girls' education, which I'll talk about later in the video, but yeah, let's get into it. So what is the Gilman Scholarship exactly, and what does it cover? The Benjamin A. Gilman International Scholarship is a prestigious U.S. State Department program that provides financial support for students with limited means to study or intern abroad, helping them gain critical skills and global perspectives. The number of students awarded varies each year, but for the 2023-2024 academic year, over 3,400 students were selected across the fall, spring, and summer programs, resulting in an approximate 25% selection rate. In addition to the Gilman Scholarship, there are 3 supplemental awards tied to the program. There's the Critical Need Language Award, which is for students studying critical need languages such as Arabic, Mandarin, or Russian. There's the STEM Supplemental Award, which is for students pursuing study or internships in science, technology, engineering, or math fields. Then there's the Gilman McCain Scholarship, which is specifically for dependents of active or activated U.S. military personnel. Applicants for the regular Gilman Scholarship are automatically considered for the McCain Scholarship if they indicate that they are current dependents. However, applicants can only receive one of these awards. As far as award amounts go, the regular Gilman Scholarship and the Gilman McCain Scholarship award up to $5,000. The Critical Need Language Award awards an additional $3,000, and the STEM Supplemental Award awards an additional $1,000. Just a note though, you can apply for and potentially receive multiple awards, but you may not always receive the maximum amount for any single scholarship. It's just something to keep in mind as you plan your funding so that you can ensure that you have enough to cover all of your expenses, even if that means you need to explore additional funding sources beyond Gilman. Still, even if you may not receive the full amount for any award, it might still be worth it to apply anyway because you never know. Who is eligible for the Gilman Scholarship? To apply for the Gilman Scholarship, you must be a citizen or a national of the United States, including U.S. territories like Puerto Rico or the Virgin Islands, an undergrad student in good standing at an accredited institution in the United States, receiving a federal Pell Grant, very important, in the process of applying to or accepted to a credit-bearing study abroad or internship program. Nope, credit-bearing. I've done a non-credit-bearing study abroad program in the past, and the Gilman Scholarship would not cover that. So it has to be credit-bearing. And finally, the location of your study abroad program has to have an overall travel advisory level of 1 or 2. If all that sounds like you, then let's talk about the application process. According to the Gilman website, there are basically 4 main things you need to do to apply, and these things vary in time consumption and difficulty level. So as part of your application, you have to upload your school's transcripts, input information about the specific study abroad program that you're doing, as well as select your school's advisors, which should already be on the Gilman's website or the application portal. And of course, you have to write your essays. There are 3 mandatory essays that you have to write, and depending on if you are applying to supplemental awards, you may have to write up to 5, so yeah. The whole process can take some time, so you should definitely plan accordingly. So here are some things that I think that you should know / tips section before you apply to the scholarship. Number 1, I found that the application was so long. I spent collectively about 10 hours on it, and I honestly feel like I could have spent longer. It was long. So that is something that you should know ahead of time. You will not be finishing it in a few hours. Not if you want to have, like a good application, something that looks reasonable. It's really long. It's the longest I've ever spent on applying for any scholarship that I've ever applied for, like so far in my life. So yeah, that's something to note. You have 3 required essays that you have to turn in order to apply. So there's a statement of purpose essay, community impact essay, as well as the follow-on service project proposal, which for me, I feel like took the longest. I had to think about what I would be doing as my follow-on service project. So actually, like, you're not just applying for a scholarship, like, you are agreeing to do like a project, like a whole thing for this program. And so that's something that I think you should consider, because you don't want to say that you're doing a project that you can't follow through on. You know what I mean? Like, you want to do something that you know that you can do, that might not be too difficult. For me, it was this video. So that's definitely something that I would asterisk, think about what you would want to do. You have 6 months to do your project. If you need to push back time, you can, if you just request it. But yeah, you definitely want to think about something that you can do. The idea is like to give back to your community, to others who maybe don't know about the Gilman Scholarship. I definitely didn't know about the Gilman Scholarship for a long time. Actually, like, I definitely did not hear about it the first time that I went to school. So discovering this opportunity, and not only discovering it, but being able to actually receive it and benefit from it is really nice. So yeah, that's basically something that you want to consider, how you're going to use your project to give back and promote the program, the Gilman program. Yeah. So the next thing is that regarding your application overall, I would say that the program definitely cares more about your story over your GPA, although having a good GPA does not hurt. If, you know, you have always wanted to study abroad and maybe you're like worried about not being like a 4.0 having student or anything like that, you should still apply. It's mainly a needs-based scholarship. So if you are, you know, genuinely a decent student, and you're just interested in studying abroad, apply. You should go for it. It's good to get out there and expand your horizons, I think. So yeah, I would say that you just want to make sure that you have a clear reason for why you want to go abroad, and, you know, just be able to express that. Regarding your essay, yeah, it's like I said, you just want to share your story. If writing essays is not your strong point, utilize your school's writing center. Definitely utilize whatever you have to refine your essays. I didn't have that opportunity. It was just like my eyes only on this piece of paper over and over and over again. It was like, but that actually brings me to like my next and final like tip is start early. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I do think that if I had another pair of eyes on my essay, I probably would have had a better outcome. So they do care about your essay. They care about how well it's written, and you can definitely utilize the writing centers in your school to improve anything that you have. Even if you're a great writer, it's still good to have a proofreader, an editor, somebody else to just kind of like see things from a different perspective. So that would be, again, just as a writer, my biggest tip for anybody writing anything. Is that my last tip? Yes. Start early. Start early is the best advice. So I want to take some time to share my experience with this scholarship. And I also figured that it's a good opportunity to share some of my pictures and videos of my trip while I do that. So I attended Korea University in Seoul, which is one of Korea's top 3 universities. If you've ever heard of Korea's Sky universities, they're the K in the sky. I did a 6-week summer program, and it was honestly an amazing experience. The campus was gorgeous. I loved both of my classes. I loved my professors. I loved my cohort. I loved the city. I loved the food. It was all so great. I mean, it was summer and it was hot and it was sticky, but like outside of that, like it was amazing. That and the mosquitoes. I can't mess with Korean mosquitoes. They're on another level. For me, what makes it extra special as well is I was able to go to Korea last summer because I kind of took a leap of faith. I was really adamant about going to Korea last year. I just felt really pushed to go, but I wasn't really sure how I was going to get there, and I guess I kind of manifested the opportunity through scholarships and financial aid, and even finding the Gilman Scholarship itself. The tricky thing about that was that I ended up discovering the Gilman Scholarship the day of the deadline for the summer semester, so I really didn't have much time to work on my application. I kind of just did it on some like low-key, like what the hey, like you never know type stuff, for real. Because I was a rising senior at the time and it just wasn't really feasible for me to wait. You know, it just felt right to take it, so I just went for it. And after deciding to go for it, it was honestly the most amount of time and effort I've ever spent applying to anyone's scholarship. I had to, fill out the regular stuff, details about the program. I had to scramble to get my official transcripts because I was a transfer student and I had transcripts from a previous school, but I didn't have any access to the school's portal anymore, so I had to go through like a whole thing. And then I had to write 4 essays. 7,000 characters is the longest essay and 2,000 characters is the shortest, but I spent the most time on the 3 required essays and then almost crashed out because I knew that I was gonna try to apply for the Critical Need Language Supplemental Award, but I didn't notice that I needed to write a 4th essay until like an hour before the deadline. And I was about to cry, I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't sure that I was gonna make the deadline, and I was afraid that all of my effort was gonna be in vain. But we're here now and it was not in vain. But yeah, no, I really had no idea the sheer amount of effort required to complete all of the application. And then I discovered later that once you receive the scholarship, you have more work to do before and after your study abroad program. So I wasn't prepared for that either. I was like, dang, dude, like how much you want me to do? Sheesh. But then again, I think it's pretty cool that I got an award offer at all. And I feel like the lesson here is really just to go for it, folks. Even if you don't fully know if you'll succeed, maybe it's better to just try, because you really just never know. And looking back on these photos, I'm remembering that I really had a lot of fun. Like, oh my gosh, like that was such a fun time. And I'm so grateful because I may not have ever been able to say that I studied at one of the top universities in Korea otherwise. So if I can do it, you can do it. So the next thing that I want to talk about, I'm a first gen college student. I'm definitely not from a wealthy family. Going to one of the best universities in a different country in a study abroad program was not something that I thought feasible in the past. I think that education is really important. And because I am so grateful for these programs and scholarships and financial aid, I want to give back by helping other girls and women have access to an education. So that is why I started a fundraiser for the Malala Fund. The Malala Fund is a nonprofit founded by Nobel Peace Prize winner Malala Yousafzai. It works to ensure every girl around the world has access to 12 years of free quality education. Right now, more than 122 million girls are out of school, and the fund tackles barriers like poverty, gender inequality, and child marriage. By donating, you're helping girls learn, lead, and transform their communities, because when girls are educated, we all benefit. And just to be clear, the Malala Fund is not sponsoring this video. This is simply a cause I believe in, so if you're interested in helping, please consider donating. Thank you. My goal is $1,000. Even just a few dollars added up goes a long way. So thank you if you do decide to donate. Thank you so much. Yeah. Here's a summary of all we've talked about. You can pause the video if you need. The last thing that I want to say is just believe in yourself and go for it. I think that that's what life is all about. At the end of the day, you want something, you kind of just have to go for it, even if you're kind of scared, even if you might not get it. You might get it. If you don't try, you'll never get it. So yeah, I would say just go for it. If you have any questions or anything, you can leave them in the comments. Any questions about the Gilman program, you can leave them in the comments. Be sure to like this video if it helped, share this video if it helped you, or if you think it'll help somebody else who is interested in studying abroad or who is interested in getting the Gilman Scholarship. Thank you if you are donating to my fundraiser. Thank you so much. Share it with other people who also, believe in this cause. And to those who are applying for the scholarship, good luck. You got this. Bye.